Welcome to week 8 of Communications Campaigns. This is Tracy M., your instructor. Wanted to give you a little bit of a recap of where we've been, what you need to do for this week, and then what to expect as you are putting together your project, your final project. So, main thing is I want to make sure that everyone's using the framework that we've talked about for the first couple weeks and understands the framework. So if you have any questions about the framework, please feel free to email me or send me a note that about anything that you may be confused about. But essentially it's assessing, planning, implementing, and evaluating. And so where we are in the process right now is I want you to start thinking about message development for your campaign. I want you to think about 3 to 5 key messages that you need to make sure get across to your ideal client, buyer, avatar, whatever you want to call it. And then you'll have a few central messages and then some supporting messages. So think about message development this week, how to be clear, concise, and crisp. And chapters 12 and 13 talked a little bit about making sure you're not using jargon or gobbledygook or something that people aren't really necessarily going to understand. So this week, what we're really going to be focused on is chapters 14 and 15. Chapter 14 is about mobile marketing, and chapter 15 is about social networks and social media marketing. And so those are going to be two important elements of your campaign that you're going to need to think about, how you're going to reach people where they are, and then how you're going to also leverage social media to get your messages out there. But let's talk about some of the key takeaways from chapter 12 and 13. So chapter 12 was about online thought leadership. And I think it's important that as you're developing your campaign, you think about any kind of pieces that you might want to put together around thought leadership or thought leadership position papers that may be already in existence with your organization that you want to refresh as part of your campaign. But really, one of the key points in this was an effective content strategy artfully executed drives action. And so really think about clearly what your goals are with your campaign. Are you trying to sell a product, generate leads, secure contributions or donations, or really just get people to join your movement? So thinking about what your objectives are and your goals for your campaign with your ideal clients, think about that, because you really can brand yourself as an expert, and you can create things like white papers, ebooks, webinars, videos, email newsletters, wikis, research reports, infographics, slide shares, and podcasts. So think about how any of those tactics could be incorporated into your campaign as you are developing it. And what you really need to think about is you need to write for the reader, not for your organization. So you need to use language that they're going to understand. One of the examples that they gave in the book was about Mark Howe, who's a pastor who works with Christian organizations, and he took some Christian thoughts and made them more secular in his blog. The other thing to think about as you're writing your messages and your pieces is great titles grab attention. So think about how you can have a snazzy title or how you can bring the reader in with your copy. One of the other ideas that the book talked about was brand journalism. And this is where corporations hire reporters, think like reporters, and so all of their content is meant to really educate and entertain their potential clients, their existing clients, and it's really more of a news approach to website content creation. So think about that. If maybe you have a website that maybe needs some revamping as part of your campaign, maybe this will help bring people in or position you as that thought leader. And even really highly regulated industries, you can produce thought leadership positions. So things that are highly regulated, such as healthcare or financial services. And the example he gave was Innova Health Systems, which is in Northern Virginia. They were able to put together a Life with Cancer campaign where they targeted and had metrics around new patients, savings, and long-term patient engagement around their campaign. And so they put together a good example where you could be in a highly regulated industry but still talk very generically and provide content for your audience that they find valuable that's going to draw them in. And I thought another key point is it's really about being insightful in your thought leadership pieces, and it's really about having a point of view or starting a conversation or a dialogue, and something unique and different, and that will really position you as a thought leader. And then chapter 13 I thought was really good. It was about how to write for buyers. And they don't go into a lot of detail here, but it is really important that you think about how you're going to use words that people actually speak, and it's not jargon, and it's not something that they don't normally use. It's not overused words or phrases so that they get bored basically with what you're writing, or they just don't even understand what it is that you're trying to say. And so when you put your copy together and your campaign pieces and your collateral that's going to go with it and your tactics, it's really important to start with the buyer, not with the product or the service that you're trying to sell or the action, and really think about how they like to consume that information. One of the there's lots of books out there on copywriting and writing for your readers, but the book they recommended was Everybody Writes, which is a book by Ann Handley, I think it is. And so I'm not familiar with that book, but it's probably worth looking into. And there's a lot of resources out on the web as well. I know Ann Wiley is another person that puts out writing tips and seminars and workshops that teach you how to write and how to write interesting headlines and how to really draw the reader in and think like a reporter. Boeing was another example that moved to brand journalism like Raytheon. And the other thing I think is really important is to focus on your message development and refine anything that you've already come up with now that you've read this, based on this new information and based on some of the ideas that have maybe been generated as part of reading these chapters. And chapter 14 and 15, what we're going to move into is really the mobile space and the social marketing space and how you're going to pull that into your overall campaign. Both of them can be very effective ways to get your messages out there and to draw your audience in. And so really think about how you're going to position yourself using these channels. And it doesn't mean you have to be on all of them. Find the platforms that your ideal client is on. So don't go to LinkedIn if they're on Facebook or Twitter. Don't go to Pinterest if they're on Instagram. And so really think about, if you have limited time and resources, where you're going to put that energy and that effort in your campaign. So we actually have a spring break where we're going to be off, and then we will pick back up on March 29th with the course, and we'll keep chugging along with your projects and with your pieces of the puzzle that you're putting together as part of your campaign. And I'm hoping that this is becoming clear to you about the elements of the campaign, what you actually need to do tactically as part of the campaign, and then how strategically it's going to fit back up into your organizational goals and objectives. And it doesn't have to be all of your organizational goals and objectives. It could just be one objective. But most of the most effective campaigns directly link back up to that strategic priority or objective of the organization and support it. That's ideally how it should be. You shouldn't be doing a campaign just to do a campaign. It should really be in support of something else that the organization is trying to achieve. So hopefully you're getting a lot out of the book. Please make sure you participate in the discussion boards. Make sure that you are contacting me if you have any questions. I'll continue to put resources up onto Joule that will help you as you are working on campaign development, increasing your understanding of how to plan and implement, execute, and measure a campaign. And so all of these things are interconnected. It's a process. It should flow. In the real world, you kind of have fits and starts, but if you spend a lot of time in the planning phases and getting alignment around that plan that you come up with, the execution phase is usually simple. And making sure that you know what those front end goals are will help you on the measurement side and coming up with the right metrics that will make the most sense, that will drive the greatest ROI for the organization. So I look forward to speaking to you again in week 9, not week 9, but week 10. Again, if you have any questions, just email me at my Notre Dame email and I'll be happy to answer your questions. So Thanks. Have a great week, and I hope you enjoy chapters 14 and 15 and that your campaigns are coming along and that you're really feeling confident in campaign planning and execution. And we'll get to the measurement part in a few modules, but know that everything that you're doing right now is building towards that measurement piece. And while the measurement piece is very hard sometimes to quantify, it can be quantified, and it can have metrics. So, and that's really where you're going to prove your most value and worth to your organization with your campaign, and the need to spend the budget money and to do it the right way. And you can really hit a home run if you've done this planning the right way and that your execution is flawless. So I wish you the best of luck this week. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, and I hope you're doing well. And I look forward to seeing your campaigns at the end of the semester. We are getting towards the mid to the end part of the semester, and so I look forward to supporting you throughout the semester with your campaign. So again, good luck, and I will speak to you soon.